Back in 2007, games were still in the starting strides of the next-gen revolution. The original Darkness caught many an eye with its comic book anti-hero, Jackie Estacado, marauding through a semi-open New York, with its mischievous hellions, the Darklings. 5 years later, the Darkness 2 has arrived, ready and willing to spill blood and dine on hearts. Is this sequel a gore-filled smorgasbord, or just fast food filler?
Yep. Makes you feel any better. You're not the first guy to be in this situation.
Jackie is still holding a candle for Jenny, his main squeeze who shuffled off her mortal coil in the first game. Still, that hasn't stopped him from running one of the largest crime families in the city and dating identical twins. Not everyone is happy about the situation, and during some scintillating dinner conversations, some made men make a move on Jackie. Wounded and weary, Jackie summons the sequestered powers of the Darkness to find out who's behind the hit. Mafia bravado escalates and then evaporates into cultist conspiracy, putting the Darkness itself, the demonic power that dwells within Jackie, in the spotlight. Jackie's story crisscrosses between endless killing bouts and extended stays in his penthouse, where he can chew the fat with his lieutenants or talk about the good old days with his elderly Aunt Sarah, providing some backstory for those willing to listen. An asylum also appears as either a lucid dream or dual reality, burdening Jackie with even more questions and giving players entertaining interludes.
Just stay calm, Jackie. It's going to be all right.
The B-movie cultists and their bad haircuts provide meager narrative fodder for the concepts at hand, the chance of redemption, and the nature of power. At least the post-credit coda simultaneously helps to tie everything up, set up a sequel, and give fans of the comic a nice little nod.
Sometimes I can't tell the difference between a fruit and a vegetable.
There are still subways in the Darkness, they just no longer act as hubs. Jackie's adventure plays out linearly through various dens of inequity. Levels are sprinkled with glowing detritus that can be used to the Darkness's benefit, where car doors become shields and billiard cues become javelins. Jackie is funneled through in his pursuit, with minimal objectives beyond the occasional need to sever an electrical wire. A little leeway exploring will net relics for the new upgrade system. Slaying enemies also nets essence, which can be used to unlock new moves and executions, upgrade your tentacles, guns, Darkling minions, and so forth. The black hole power and the various executions work to stand out, but many of the other perks don't feel all that interesting, with way too many focusing on boring behind-the-scenes math. The executions are particularly gnarly and net the most points and give the best bonuses, but they eventually become tedious as you watch them play out again and again. Vendettas mode is a co-op campaign that can also be played solo. It allows you to give 4 additional characters a try, with their own unique skill trees, though many individual powers are duplicates. The mode recycles the single-player game's assets with a few new twists and can be completed in a scant 2 hours, with additional one-off missions being unlocked. You can try out other characters, but there's not a lot of draw to max out their abilities or run through the story again and again. If there's one thing the Darkness 2 can do, it's stage an ambush. Prepare to frequently be pitted against a whole lot of guys. The game peaks on ideas about midway through when the last of the new enemies appear, though you will grow more and more powerful. Ambushes aside, there are some standout moments, like when you take direct control of the Darkling Imp. There's also what can only be described as a charming on-rails segment in a fairground haunted house. Battle fatigue and ho-hum boss fights make the 6 or 7 hour campaign feel just about right, with Chapter Select unlocked for those who want to search out more relics or try out more abilities.
This is, well, it's a thumbscrew. I don't really know what else to tell you.
Here, this is from Vinny.
Nice.
With the powers of the Darkness at his disposal, Jackie is practically a god. His tentacles can vivisect his foes or hurl them like ragdolls. Guns are in no short supply either, with dual wielding being an option. The Darkness can't operate in the light, leaving Jackie vulnerable and disoriented, so there are the requisite bulbs to shoot out and generators to shut down. Barring that, Jackie is pretty tough, with every dead Goomba supplying a delicious heart that also restores Jackie's health. Controlling the tentacles works well, with some slight analog control over the slashes, and reticles letting you know whether you can take out specific lights. Oddly enough, certain types of illumination, like that of a fire, don't seem to dampen the darkness, making it a guessing game at times as to what exactly will leave you vulnerable. How can mere mortals stand up to Jackie? By using the aforementioned ambushes and throwing countless enemies at him. The cultists also have a few tricks. Some are smart, employing enemies with spotlights to track you down as their comrades spray you with bullets. Others are annoying, like the teleporting enemies that extend fights in a way that ultimately feels cheap. Still others are genuinely interesting, like the guys who wield weird whips that can disarm you, forcing you to improvise. Executing your enemies yields health and ammo, so it's often a necessity in the big fights to endlessly pick away at a mark and then swoop in for the close quarters kill. These death sentences are when you act cheap, putting you into a state of invulnerability as the animation plays out for the umpteenth time. When playing the Darkness, you have to make your own fun. At first, there are plenty of ways to keep yourself occupied, but soon enough, the maiming loses steam and new environments give way to the same old sorties.
We're working on a plan to escape this place disguised as a band-aid. Yeah, but we're not sure if we can pull it off.
Cell shading has been a part of video games for over a decade, and The Darkness 2 has adopted this stylized look in homage to its comic book background. Unlike the panels and pages that inspired the game, things look the most gaudy when the action is slow or still. When things are hectic, with tentacles flying, the game looks worlds better. Textures are more detailed than most cell-shaded games, giving The Darkness 2 a more nuanced look. Be prepared for some glitches around the execution animations, and a healthy dose of stereotypical mafia accents.
It was Eddie Wording. I was otherwise engaged at the time.
He was busy snorting coke off a hooker's ass.
Never could multitask.
Musician Mike Patton once again loses his tonsils for a deranged performance as the voice of the Darkness itself.
Protect the Darkness.
Never!
The Darkness is, well, dark. The Angelus is light. Darkness wants chaos. Angelus wants order. Darkness needs a male host. Angelus needs a female. Guess that kind of explains why they've been fighting for, well, forever, I guess.
The Darkness still packs plenty of gut appeal, with limbs being sheared and torsos torn asunder. Alas, players cannot sustain themselves on gore alone. Ultimately, the ultra-violence will whet your appetite for bloodlust, but fail to slake your thirst for a truly great game.